Hey guys, it's me, I'm back. Ready, set, bees. So, I'm very unhappy that I was wrongfully banned from YouTube. However, it did give me time to think about changes, and so I decided to move entirely back to Canada. I know people are just going to be loving it. They're going to try to say, ooh, look, we told you so, but I mean, where's your man? Where's your husband? I can find mine.
What are you doing?
Well, now that we're all back on Foodie Beauty page, I'm just trying to let everyone know things have changed. I'm a different kind of person than I was when I left. A kinder, more gentle person. Someone who's a little more disciplined. Why? Whatever. Well, what are you looking at? It's between me and Allah, isn't it? Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark! And this is Smokeysteveandmarc. Welcome back. And we're checking in for a little coffee break on a weeknight. So, many of you have been probably keeping up. Chantal lives. I mean, we assume she lives. But we've had some more details now after her not being available. So there was about a 7-day ban. She says ban when she came back today, or that she showed up, and it's over now. She doesn't think she was banned rightfully, of course, because she's perpetually a victim. And she has moved back to Canada in the meantime. So she is not in the Middle East. She is not in Kuwait right now. She is going back to Canada for hard to say amount of time. Now, this is supposed to be the big switch up, the big plan. Do we remember the last time she came home and was never going back to Kuwait and was going to stay in Canada? And the number of times she was told us in Kuwait she would never go back to Canada. She's as dependable as ever. She hasn't changed very much outside of clothing and size, and it's kind of on deaf ears. Now, during this blackout, she did her traveling. Very smart, I think. And it was curious to me when she said banned, or that it wasn't from any, like, outside thing. She didn't post on any of her social media, the other social media that she had. There wasn't, like, Instagram, nothing. You couldn't hear peep from her. No one went looking for flights. It was much more discreet because there was nothing about it. Now, Chantal, if you want to have privacy, that's the kind of thing you have to do. Not make a video out of it. And then people won't be talking about it. So anything she did for those 7 days, listen, Chantal, those memories are entirely yours. You don't have to make them up. You don't have to defend them to people. You don't have an audience watching what you're doing. Not saying quit YouTube, because she never would, but maybe find a place for it in your life. It's possible it came in between, technology came in between you and your husband. On his end, and on yours. So, just saying is all just saying. So we're in Canada again. Remember everyone, rule 1 of Girl World is that Chantal lies, and she lies like she breathes. So, I don't know. I don't know if I could travel when she was doing her preparation. During the, everyone's like, well, you're going to have to travel. Your visa's going to be screwed. And she's like, oh, I don't need to. And besides, I don't even think I can travel in the condition I'm in. The second I heard that, I knew she was traveling somewhere. Because she wants it to be like, oh man, yeah, I want to go too, but too bad I can't. It was very, very predictable. Though there was a lot of theories, did not expect her traveling to go all the way to Canada. I thought she'd get out of Kuwait, maybe go for a drive or something. I didn't think she'd come back to Canada with any seriousness about staying there. And for all we know, she's not. She changes her mind, lies and hides her motives all the time. So tomorrow, all these Canada reactions that we did, she could be back on a plane in a week. She doesn't know. We cannot predict it, which is understandable because she can't predict it for the most part. The part of her that's not flaky is diabolical. And so the last time that she was in Canada, the thinking was she was away in Canada and she had kind of lost control of Salah to the extent that she controlled him, and all the stuff about came up and his behaviors around that and his whatever. And so it painted poorly on him, of course, because they were quite specific fetishes that he had. Ones that probably touched the toe of abuse. But they were all discussions that he was having with someone other than his wife. So when she lost control of the situation, she hurried the hell back to Kuwait. and tried to double down on how happily married she was. But at that point, we didn't really even see Sala much anymore. And can you blame him? I love Mark. But if I had a very embarrassing habit, like cheating, you know, I probably wouldn't tell him. If he'll cheat in your face, then he doesn't care. You know, and if he doesn't care, why should you? So it's just as well. I didn't like Sala particularly. I didn't like Chantal's choices particularly. But the one thing she does get that I give credit for, I'm always willing to give people like a second, third, fourth, fifth chance. It makes me the sucker, which I understand, but I don't want to not be nice just to drop expectations that people can't do anything with their life or ever change. I've seen people change. I've seen people sicker than Chantal change. But it takes a while, and you need to be aware that you need to change, and you need to be willing to do at least a little something, and we're not there with her. So, she's coming back to Canada to work on some health concerns, she said. Now, we get the diabetes, which she hasn't been treating and not doing anything with, and eating garbage and having fast food. She can't wait to come home. She had to go get gravy, drink it in the car. It was just like old times. The outhouse, all of it. People had also noticed, speaking of the outhouse, that Chantal's disposition seemed a little more cheerful, a little more active. There's a number of reasons. One, she could be happy she's fucking home and not in Kuwait anymore. Pretending to be happy is a challenge. Now, I don't think she's happy. I think she wants people to think she was happy there and that, you know, she's untouchable emotionally. But I think she was bored. I think she was lonely. I think she just assumed be back. And pretending to be happy is harder than being, like, unhappy sometimes, because having to pretend that you're okay with a life that is clearly not going as planned and have to take that on the chin and say, hey, I like it this way. Miss, you just spilled gravy all over your abaya. Would you like a towel? No, I like it this way. She will drop dead before she would give another person the opportunity to call any shot in her life. Which brings us back to her being Muslim and in Canada now. So, how long do we think it's going to be till the costume comes off? Muslim folks, viewers, it's not knocking the clothing of your tradition, but if anybody was wearing clothing of a tradition which their person doesn't seem to show through, her only interest in being Muslim was to meet Muslim guys. She put on the hijab before she even reverted or whatever, converted, whatever she did. She didn't, I don't know. So coming back, now her hair is probably grown out. It's been like a year and a half. It was never terribly thick. Her hairline is a little like mine. But she might not need the hijab to cover that. She might go back to wearing wigs. So we've lost the abaya already, now that she's back. We're not fasting at all. The rationalization being, well, I wasn't fasting there either. This is what's going to be. She's only going to be a strict, serious Muslim when she meets the next Muslim guy that she chases. That's all it's going to happen. She's going to tell herself she's in the mood for a rebound. And she's going to start doing all of those things long before we start suspecting or hearing or anything like that. Do we think she's called Natter yet? Sent him a text or two? Hey, guess who's back in Canada? Yes, I think so. Pete's, this was the weird part, because Pete's blew up her spot last time, saying that where she was going and what she was doing. Pete's couldn't be trusted, so Chantal told him to shut up. But Pete's didn't release any kind of inkling or hint or anything of what was going on with her. So blackout being blackout. So you wonder if she put the fear of God in him, like, I'll pay for you to live with me again if you shut the hell up, which would probably work for Pete's. Or he didn't know and she didn't let him on to it. So now I have to think between Natter and Pete's. Between these two people, she's going to contact one of them. She can't stand not being the center of someone's desire. That's the Pete's thing. He still has it hard for her. She could turn around tomorrow and say, Pete's, I was wrong all along. It's you the one I wanted. And he'd drop to his knee and propose again. And she'd probably still say no. So, Pete's didn't blow up her spot, and he does have a history of being a sucker with her. The trashed credit left over from the villa, that the thinking was that he signed, his credit was good enough to get on the lease, but then she had the bulk of the income to pay for it. Trashed credit after the villa, you know, he used to be a wet rag, but I'm thinking actually since he had his own channel, not for the money or anything, but I think he found other people to semi-socialize with in a way that is okay for him because he's a little awkward. So the distance of talking or using avatars or anything like that might have helped him. And I would like to think Pete's would have met a good friend, somebody that would make him go, that's what a friend is like. That's how friendship works. Not this, I owe you, you owe me, you're indebted to me, you'd be dead without me stuff. Everyone in Chantal's life think they'd be broke, poor, dead without her. She's sitting in the dark in her car, drinking gravy, and passing judgment on the rest of us. Just saying. So, but I'd have to say, I think she still would contact Natter and be like, hey, I'm back on Canadian soil. Where's Dee Dee tonight? Because she still, on principle, won't let that go. She was outplayed by Natter, which she would find embarrassing, but it's what everyone kind of saw. So, I don't know. If she was going to contact any of them, I think she'd contact Pete when she got back. I think she's kind of with family now. The thinking is that she might be staying with Smee, her mom, but not be able to film there because we've only been seeing her like in the car and out and about doing things. So, hard to say. So how long is it until she doesn't practice Islam anymore in any sort of way? One could argue she's only ever worn the outfit, and treating a faith, appropriating it like cosplay to meet guys is disgusting, and you make me sick. But we all learn when we learn. So I think she'll keep all the clothing, like I said, and she likes Muslim guys. She'll set her sights back on to the Mediterranean, try to find somebody. She'll have a couple quick, like, in the night kind of things. Chantal is not... She's still mobile. She's still a woman. And I mean, people have sex under the strangest of her circumstances in life. So I could see her getting a little rebound something. But she'll keep a lot of it to herself because then she doesn't have to lie. She doesn't have to make up a story unless somebody finds out. Also in the rumor mill is that Sam is coming back. Remember Sam, the other cat? Well, Chantal had kind of said a family friend or friend of the family, somebody had taken the cat when she left. After she had BBJ, she gave the other one away. This person is apparently close enough to her that she's going to get Sam back, which I'm sure people will be thrilled over. Now, how many... Let's see here. Let's disrupt the life of animals for my convenience. So I got rid of 2 pets I had for 20 years because I wanted to go play King and I across the pond. So she got rid of those with almost no thought of it. She did so little thought that her nemesis was able to come onto her cat, and she gave him away to someone that she hated because she looked so little into it. It's either that or she was outsmarted by French Fry Girl, and I don't think Chantal would want to admit to either one of those things. So, but as long as she's going to be a Muslim woman, I don't think it's going to last on the Canadian side. She'll keep the hijab for bad hair days, but I mean, like, that's what I mean. That's how she thinks of it. She'll keep the hijab for bad hair days, or bad chin days if you must. But that's, like, not cool. That's like me getting... I'm just going to wear robes all the time for myself because it's comfortable for me. Are you practicing a faith, sir? No. Well, it's between me and God. And the rest of you don't need to know. And I don't mean to be anti-religious, but trying to say the person that no one else, you know what I mean? Like people who think it's like your imaginary friend, like, well, this person that no one else can see but loves me will only be the one who judge me. If she really believed that, she would extend that to others, rather than pass judgment all the time, which led to the vicious community posts and videos, which led to the blackout. I don't know what to tell you. You're not like the Golden Girl anymore. Between the reputation, the cosplay with the Muslim stuff, and we'll see now that she gets back, some of her more flattering characteristics usually come out when she's high. So now that she's home, of course, it was going to be dispensary, to the next place, to the next place. Fast food, all that kind of stuff. She's just like a pig in slop now, having all her favorites now that she's back. And she can drive, and she can go out, and she can, do other things. But the harder she tries to convince everyone that this is what she wanted and this is the right thing, she just sounds like she's overcompensating and being over happy. Like, she might miss Sala. It was 1.5 years. That's a long time. That's a long arc. That's more than an arc, I would say. So I don't see her happy. I don't think the marriage made her happy. I think she's probably better. I don't think she believes in Allah because she's too selfish to have a God. She worships her needs and her wants and desires and whims. And that's her. That's her life. But that person is not going to exist in a place where she can meet all of her vices all at once. There's no room for a faithful person, a humble person, a sober person in Chantal's world. So she's Muslim because only God can judge her. By that, then aren't I, too? And what's the confirmation? I find out later after I'm dead. Oh God, wrong one. I don't know. So far, I think since she's been back, it's been party favors. There was discussion about her being exceptionally excited while she was, I'm hyper and you're gonna get it, which usually means, you know. You know. You know. So where do we go from here? The woman lies like a rug. Well, I can only go on what we see, and we can only go on what we see, and some of us have pretty good instincts for stuff that happens off camera. Some of us don't. Some of us do, for an idea of what she's doing, even if she's not on YouTube. And I don't know which to believe. She's so inconsistent and unreliable, which is maybe what her husband didn't like either. That it's hard to pick what her next move is going to be because it's hard to guess where she's at the moment. You know, has she already gotten to the place where everywhere but on camera she's wearing like the hijab? She won't wear it out, won't wear it home, wear wigs, nothing. Because it's not wrong if no one sees it. It's part of the religion, sure, but not wrong unless anyone sees it. So if she doesn't film herself without it, then it didn't happen. And anyone who says so is a damn liar and spreading lies and trying to hurt her and blah, blah, blah. She's going to need to suck up a lot of pity to win some super chats after this, I think. Telling everyone in the audience that your life is enviable, that everyone wants the situation that you're in. And then having to turn around now this time later and say, gotta find a place to live. She's essentially, I think, sleeping at her mom's place and then living in her car for the rest of the day so she can go out and have her own little splurges on whatever her vices are. She'll miss Salah, probably, but she'll find somebody else. I don't think she'll be too heartbroken about it. She doesn't have remorse like other people seem to do. It's kind of like, as long as she got out unscathed, it turned out fine. It doesn't matter how it turned out for anybody else. So we'll see if she gets through this next period unscathed. Remember, the last time she talked about going to Canada, she was all gung-ho for like 3 days, and everyone's making videos about it, and she changed her mind because she's a flake. And she has nothing to do and nowhere to be, so she can afford to do it. But I don't know, she did mention Salah possibly coming to visit there. I don't see that happening. I think Salah's been done with her for weeks at this point, and she was probably thrown out for visa fraud or similar. But she'll be back. She'll be back. She lost quite a bit of money during the blackout where she couldn't put up any content. Even low numbers for Chantal are numbers. And missing those now, when she's going to need money, it was just, you don't know. You don't know. It's not a good idea to be stupid and impulsive because you don't know what you might be running into next. There's really very little room for planning. And since she's at a place in her life now where she's not doing anything she expected she would be doing. I'm sure she didn't expect to be in Canada. I'm sure she didn't expect to be pretty much living in her car. And I don't think she expected to have no husband. But that exhausted itself. And even if she did love Salah, she loves her more. So she was going to take her toys, go back to Canada where she can make enough to not only eat fast food, but buy a man who won't mind. So we'll see if that changes by Sunday or Saturday. So thank you all for joining me and thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, all the contact info's below. Thanks, and we will catch up with you very soon. So stay well, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we'll see you in a bit. All right? Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. Bye.